Intel, Mercedes-Benz, Vodafone, DHL, Alienware, Logitech G, and PaySafeCard. Vodafone presents the pre-match.
Well, live from Hamburg in Germany, it is the first ESL One of a brand new series. The group stage is all complete. We now know the two teams that have gone from each group to the upper bracket and the two teams that have gone to the lower bracket. We also say goodbye to 4 of our teams as well. Time to turn our attention towards the semi-final of the upper bracket, and the match we've got coming for you. You don't want to miss this one. It's Secret versus Virtus.Pro. Now, before we get there and we get some views from our expert panel, why don't we check in with the teams? Before they came out to Hamburg, or rather when they arrived, we set them a little challenge. Could you send some love letters to each other's teams? And if you could, what would you say?
Wait, so we have to write something to Alliance?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't get any prep time? No. There's a bird.
Could you say what you said at breakfast? What did I say? So am I just doing it? Oh, you decided to go lowercase for shit? Right or cheesy? Dash or cheesy?
It's true.
What Alliance is? Dog shit. I mean,
it's true.
They have a point. We're boxy. Yeah. Alliance
really
2K18.
Alliance 2K18, lol.
It's from Alliance.
It's from Alliance.
To Cole? Oh yes, this is my lucky day, dude. How long can it be? Can it be like a letter? Yeah. What do we type?
Stop ruining puck games. Sign it with boxy.
Dear E and Company, also F you. Please go back to NA and stop ruining my lovely pub experience. Your Phoenix is utter garb. Boxy. 98. Twitch TV.
Solid.
No.
Solid.
I like the smell of marker.
Yeah. It's a nice smell.
What is this? Explain.
Oh, who wrote this? I think this is Poppy, right?
We fresh. Like a model. Like a true model.
Pasha will send letter.
We need to think. You think it's a good idea to come here without at least one Hassan brother? Lakat Matatag.
Lakat Matata.
Is this from? This has to be complex. Really?
VP, yeah.
This is VP?
I got it in.
Are you serious? Whatever, dude. NIP.
Oh,
this is some fucking. We got some backstory here, huh?
We just saw something on his Instagram.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna fucking reference it, bro.
You can say you're gonna need more than a broodmother tattoo to beat us or some shit. I don't know.
Oh, wait, what?
Hope your game plays better than the last tattoo you got, Peter. F. That's forward gaming. Okay. Cool. Really, very edgy. Very edgy. A real zinger. I gotcha. You want to do this or me?
You can do this.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I don't know a single player on your team.
That's pretty sad, but that's true.
I hope after this tournament, he will know.
Not sure where the love was in there. Maybe that should have been called salt letters. Would have been more appropriate. Some good fun, though, between the teams. Some good bants, as they say in the business. Talking of bants, got a couple of men who are experts in it as well alongside me. We've got Blitz and Purge joining us. We're going to preview the semi-finals, gents, in just a moment. But I thought it'd be nice to just wrap up on Groups A and B, and we'll show all of the people at home exactly where each of these teams finished. We'll start with Group A, obviously. What did you make of it all?
Group A was not too surprising, I guess. There was really...
Top two went through, we thought went through.
Yeah.
Bottom two went out, we kind of thought would go out. I think Meneski Payne was always a coin flip, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a coin flip in there with those bottom three teams, Paint, Alliance, Meneski, and we didn't really know how EG would perform with the stand-in, but they did fine, so it's really not a huge surprise.
Well, same thoughts?
Yeah, I think EG splitting every. What did they split every
Oh,
game?
yeah, I called that. They
every
went
single
1-1
one.
every time.
I think that
All
was
5 draws.
a little bit unexpected. Just because I think this team, like when it gets momentum, they're a very good team, and sometimes they just win game 1 dominantly, and like, okay, I guess we don't know what we're doing game 2.
I mean, standing too. Well, we should keep that in mind, should we?
Yeah, and it's probably their most influential player. Just the kind of aura that he gives off and stuff like that. CCNC, I think, you can't really ever flame a stand-in. Like, he's trying his best.
No, he's been good. He's had a couple of great TA games.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this was the pretty much how I expected things to go. Maybe Vici picks up like 9 points total. I thought they were the best team in this group, but it doesn't really matter otherwise.
Okay. Group B. This is where things went slightly differently than we thought they would go. Some definite surprises in this particular group, not least of which at the bottom of it. I certainly didn't expect to see Ninjas in Pyjamas in that bottom 2, did we?
I don't think so. I think it was more likely it was going to be complexity based on the way that Cole's been looking recently, and Forward Gaming also having a stand-in, so they underperformed a little bit, but still did relatively fine. But yeah, NIP definitely underperforming. I thought they were more solid. They had some good games leading up to this, even if it was sometimes inconsistent, but today seemed a little rockier. And definitely good for Cole. Like I was looking at their group stage record, and if you ignore their NIP series at the end where they got 2-0, it looked pretty bad. They had a 0-2, a 1-1, an 0-2, and a 1-1 against the worst team, arguably, here. So it seemed like, oh, they're not going to make it, but they just got enough wins, just barely in that last match, so it's good for them.
Yeah, definite step up in performance on the final day. It's going to presumably buoy them a little bit headed into that lower bracket. They've got EG next as well.
I think it feels really nice just to win in the fashion that you did in game 1, to save yourself from elimination. And the best part about it, too, is that game wasn't worthless. Because it would feel terrible, Paul.
It would, wouldn't it?
You go through everything. You'd play this, like, 80-minute comeback Spectre game, and then game 2 you get absolutely stomped in 20 minutes.
Yeah, that would have been awful.
Yeah, you're not feeling great after that. But because they come out with the win, I think it gives you, like, this renewed sense of purpose. Like, guys, we can do this. Maybe we're not as bad as everybody thinks we are.
That's what it felt like to me. And it also felt like I was watching TI again, where at the start of the tournament, the meta was all about making sure your lanes were super strong and super good matchups. And then they just started picking Spectre, and they're just like, oh, we're just going to slowly advance and take advantage and just win late game team fights. So it's like the Axe support suddenly seemed kind of bad, and just everything changed because nobody's been picking Spectre since the small nurse.
Okay, let's take a look at the brackets and show you where we are in the tournament. We only have 8 of the 12 original teams left, of course. We're going to start things off this evening, in fact, very shortly, with Team Secret versus Virtus.Pro, so we'll skip over that for now. Gents, Vici Gaming versus Asta. I'm looking forward to that as an opening game that we'll get tomorrow, because in many ways, it's possibly the best 2 teams.
Yeah, I think so,
apparently
too.
Apparently they are playing today.
Yeah.
My bad. Yes.
I think Aster is this really surprising team, just because if you look at the names, I think they have like D-Stones, who all the English talent have some beef with.
Apart from his Invoker.
Yeah, I mean, partly. But also you've got Sylar, Bobica, Fenrir. Like, they have a good mix of new, old talent. Yep. They bring in this guy who you have like an auto-ban hero that he just manages to play. And, I mean, looking at their group, I definitely didn't think they were going to be 9-1. I thought this was going to be an easy VP sweep. Forward maybe contends, but they don't have their Hassan player themselves, so I thought maybe Forward does okay, but I thought VP would just sort of run over this group. I was surprised to see them drop 2-0 to that team.
Yeah, and the 1-1, Forward Gaming, which is right at the end of the road, so bit weird for them.
Interesting, but I think it also gives a lot of information and tells a story that Aster is not invincible, and that even the middle group team of Forward Gaming can take them out. That means that there's going to be some cracks showing. Right. And if you can use what you learned from that game, or maybe there's a specific pick or something they did specifically, that could just channel into a win later, maybe in winter bracket finals or in grand finals.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they go on. In the lower brackets, take a look at that for you. This one includes a very spicy North American derby between Evil Geniuses and Complexity Gaming. Obviously, that goes back a long way through various different games, but not least of which, of course, in Dota 2 as well. And Pain Gaming will take on Forward Gaming. So, nice. It feels kind of nice to see those matchups. I feel like we'll get some competitive games from both of those in many ways because of the various things that are going on with the teams that have got a stand in.
Yeah, and you have a lot of ex-teammates playing against each other. You've got Envy playing against Artur. You have Weehaw playing against Rezo in that bottom bracket. I think there's a lot of ties here. And more importantly, these teams, I think this tournament is more important than people let on, even though it's not a major or minor. It's just good to win tournaments. It feels really good. I've never met a team, even when they say going in, we don't really care about this.
Right.
It feels terrible to lose at Dota because you're out here to prove that you're the best, and just going home really early, you watch everybody else play Dota when you want to play Dota. Like that's what all pros want to do more than anything. Like you've seen it before. We go to after parties. We're happiest when there are PCs provided to us. And I think it feels terrible because you don't have a practice PC and you just sit there and you watch other people win when you should.
Yeah, great point. I mean, don't disagree. We've been at many of those after parties with very miserable players in the past, no matter what size of the tournament, Kevin, it seems. You know, like they all say this, it's only a minor or it's only X amount of dollars and we're practicing for this tournament. But actually, when you go afterwards, you do get a sense that they do care. They did want to do well here. They did want to win.
Yeah, and that's one of the interesting things about the DPC structure is that with the major being later, it just looks like a kind of practice thing, like a boot camp. But again, it's all about losing. It's not so much about the winning factor. It's they don't want to lose, right. I would say. Because not all the players are very financially wealthy, but the prize pool is a little bit lower than some of the majors, which is fine in this case because when these players start losing their games and they prep and plan ahead for writing notes to each other in the next tournament, they're gonna make sure they don't lose, that their opponents can't write the right thing.
Absolutely, yeah. No, there's plenty of those notes in there as we saw. Right, let's move on. Our semi-final then is Secret versus Virtus.Pro. That's what we're going to be focusing on here on the main stream, of course. And we'll start with Team Secret. Blitz, how have you rated their tournament so far?
I think they're probably the most interesting team that I've seen so far. I think they experiment by far the most with types of heroes that they're using. I mean, one game they were doing Legion plus Axe as a support duo. I've never seen those two. I honestly can't tell you a single game where I've seen those two heroes as a support duo together.
Legion Commander 5, dude. Yeah. It's a thing.
I mean, Puppy just presses the attack and then he just runs at you. I had no idea what was going on. I looked at their lineup. I saw like 4 strength heroes. I genuinely was baffled. I had no idea what was going on, and they dominated Pain with that lineup. And this team, sometimes I feel like Puppy goes a little bit too far, but I feel like right now is the perfect amount of madness.
Okay. So he goes too far and then comes back to the line, or do you feel like sometimes he doesn't come back from the line? He's just kind of stuck out there waiting for the meta to catch up.
The thing about drafting is you look like a genius until you lose. And right now, I mean, he looks real smart.
That's Puppy's like entire career basically, where he'll pick one hero that nobody else touches for long periods of time, and he just still keeps doing it. But there's always a reason behind. He definitely has really good theories, but he's also very willing to like try to set the meta a little bit. And I would say that he's pretty successful so far here at this tournament. And he's not even picking heroes that are that weird outside of like some of these like typical offlanes Pain support. But there's reasons he picked that because press the attack is good against killing the Phoenix Egg and saving somebody that gets disabled, or jumping and dueling a low HP int hero that taking them out of the fight with a support like that, he's more than fine. So there's good reasons for doing what he did. He just has to make sure that it's the right games, that he doesn't get too set in doing the weird thing, and still keeps it in the realm of efficiency and a good matchup for your picks.
Okay, let's move on to Virtus.Pro. I feel like we haven't seen much of them somehow. Just because we haven't had many games on, I think we only had the one series here, didn't we, on first day?
It's too bad because they played Techies earlier today. I would have loved to see that.
Yeah, I mean, both of you have mentioned how funky Secret are, but Virtus.Pro, we've seen them over the last couple of days. They can play pretty much anything that's there.
They can, and it was against EVOS, so it seemed like they were just messing around a little bit, which is, I'm sure the people casting that were very relieved for that one, to make that a fun game. But yeah, they've been playing pretty well. The only team they've dropped to was Aster in a 2-0, so that's definitely something VP can come back from.
And well, in the way that they've transferred out of that disappointment from TI, I mean, 60 days ago now, I'm assuming that they're just over that and they'll move on.
I don't know if it's that easy. Because,
do you think it'll linger?
Yeah, if you think about it, okay, so they had a really dominant run leading up to the previous TI before this one, and they ended up getting, what, 8th? Then they kick Lil, and they go on a run, they pick up Roger, and they go on a run I've never seen before. They just destroy everybody, and they make everyone look bad. It reminds me of TI5 Secret. Remember when they were just winning tournament after tournament? They get to TI Paul, they're the heavy favorites, they look so good, same exact result. Didn't improve whatsoever. And I think that's the takeaway for them. That's what I hear anyways, is you kick who you think is your perceived weak link, you dominate, and at the end of the day, it didn't matter. So I feel like for them, it's going to be...
Does that not suggest, though, Will, that there's some other reason then? Because we know what a quality team they are. We know this 5 is absolutely incredible. The things that they've done in Dota since they had that 5 have been insane. So is there not another issue? Is it tiredness? Is it jet lag? Is it lack of practice? Is it poor holidaying? Is it bigger gap between last event and... What is it? Is it all of those things?
I think they sort of got figured out a little bit, and they were... So for most of the year, they were ahead of the meta, or they knew how to set it. Right. And when it got to TI both times in a row, it felt like other teams had kind of figured things out for themselves. Like OG, they understood how the laning phase, they were going to gear it towards going later on to the game, stuff like that. and I felt like VP wasn't quite there. It really felt like they were really confused when it came to picks and stuff like that. And so maybe this year, I think they should look towards peaking at the right times.
Right.
Yep.
Because you can do well in all of these tournaments. You can win 8 tournaments in a row. You can get top 3 at all of them, win with your coach like they did at Summit. But if you end up getting 8th again at TI, what does that say about your roster?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Kevin, it's a great point, isn't it? It almost comes full circle back to what Secret did at TI5. I mean, it's basically what Puppy learned that year was you can't afford to not peak at the right time. You can't peak too early. You can't be too dominant too early. People figure you out.
Yeah, it's been a hard lesson that a lot of teams have had to learn. And I don't think it's just about peaking. It's also about the period of domination. Those periods of domination where you're winning tournaments, you're picking heroes that you think are the best. People are going to replicate you. And if you figure that out first and you start winning tournaments, those heroes get nerfed. So if VP dominates for 6 months, they're going to pick the heroes that their players are good at, that they like playing. And it's over time going to mean nerfs to those best heroes if they line up with what's good in the meta. So if VP wins for 6 months dominantly leading up to TI, all their heroes get nerfed slowly. And then when TI rolls in, if they're not ready to shift suddenly, which is really hard to do unless you're really good at theory crafting and really good at understanding like what's the next new thing, they're going to fall flat. That's maybe one reason.
We picked out a couple of players, Roger and Zai, as the 2 main players to talk about before this game starts off. So just some thoughts from you both, really. We'll start with Roger.
Okay, comparing the offlane to the support. All right. I think Roger's fantastic. They're both extremely high skilled right now. I would say they're semi-comparable in terms of not making mistakes and always being in the right place at the right time. Roger definitely gets by on a little bit less farm than Zai does, but Zai's numbers aren't that huge either net worth-wise. He definitely has always been quite a bit of a playmaking offlane, not so much a hard carry. So they definitely are a bit unique in their roles, both sides.
And Will, are you a fan of the Zai offlane, or would you prefer him to be a more Roger-like 4?
I think Zai is one of the most cerebral players in Dota. He's just such an intelligent guy. He doesn't feel like he has to play that much, and I know he doesn't enjoy playing pubs like some of these guys do, but what he's really good at is he's really good at being a good teammate, learning how to fit within the confines of his team. Some certain teams he's going to have to farm a little bit more, some certain teams he's going to have to play make a little bit more. I think on the Secret roster, Yapzor takes more farm priority than he does. Like I'm seeing Yapzor hit like 8-minute Yule's timing on Rubik. I think that makes it so that Zai has to sometimes just play. I'm a Phoenix, and I'm essentially going to be the 4 position here. And Puppy's playing some Legion Commander. Like I'm probably not going to get a lot of farm, and he's okay with that because you have to learn how to adjust in Dota. Just because your role says offlane doesn't necessarily mean you're always going to get those heroes.
Is he, in many ways, Kevin, is he the perfect kind of person, attitude, professionalism, what have you, to fit into a Puppy team?
I don't know if I'd say necessarily a Puppy team, but it definitely seems like he's extremely stable, whether in social media or whatever else. He definitely seems very controlled. And I don't think we've ever seen an emotional outburst from him in his entire career, which is ridiculous considering the age that he joined the scene when he was still 16. So definitely a very mature player and something that's going to help in any kind of team environment.
We also made the remark earlier on when we were talking about Roger made such an impact to that Virtus.Pro team when he came in, and I think they won the first 2 big majors after he came in. I think that's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Katowice and one after that. Just continues to be high level for them.
I mean, the individual skill of Roger is not to be doubted. I think that this guy, for a large portion of the year, alongside maybe GH and DJ, was a top 3-4 position player. He's very stable. He's so incredibly stable. He plays a large plethora of heroes, and he adapts very well to his team's playstyle because he's just an aggressive guy, and sometimes when he has to go play the farming game, he's willing to do that too. I think the only issue with them is, again, the results. You got this all-star player who they felt was a huge improvement over Lil in both attitude and play. Didn't matter. So this time around, I think they'll experiment a bit more at some tournaments, not going in with the goal of, we have to win this.
Right.
I think it's more, what can we gain from this?
What can we learn? Slightly different approach to drafting as well. They've got Arzik, who is the new coach, of course, at Virtus.Pro. That is the one change they made since TI8. And Ramses is now coaching, drafting alongside his coach in that team. Whereas obviously the traditional pairing of Sunby and Puppy over at Team Secret, although it does feel like there's a more communal approach to this for Secret. It's not quite so, go away, go over there, we don't want anything to do with you, we'll pick what you're playing. ROTK style. It's still communal. He's still chatting to people. He's still getting their thoughts.
I mean, if those are the people that you're working with in terms of practicing draft ideas and things like that, and we've already stipulated that making sure that your drafts are unique and can stay within a good realm, I think always having more voices is going to help, at least as long as you don't let it get out of hand. If you still keep the general right picture of what your draft should be, then it can be okay.
Yeah. How do you guard against that, Will? You've played in a few teams with some big personnel. I'm sure you've had moments where you've just gone and, look, please, just everyone shut up. I need to think here. Because everyone's got their own opinion, right? We all think we know what's best coming next.
Part of the problem is that a lot of players will just see individual heroes, and they'll say, like, this hero is good right here. But if everybody thinks like that, when you end up with a lineup with no synergy, that doesn't really do anything. So it's important. That's how you get some lineups that can't either push waves, can't hit towers, because everyone's just saying, I think my hero should be this. As a captain, you're like, okay. And all of a sudden, you look at your lineup and you're like, what did I just do?
Yeah.
And so what's important is that you keep this overall flow of the game. You have these certain elements that you need. You say to yourself, like Bubba used to say, you need 3 things. You need the ability to team fight, win a team fight, / start a team fight. You need the ability to hit towers, and you need the ability to push waves. If you have those 3 things, you can fill in the rest of the spectrum, and it makes it easier to work around. And I think that's your job as the captain, to make sure that people can suggest stuff, but it still hits one of those 3 things.
Still got to fit into what we're trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. And if you didn't, well, that's where things get really complicated.
Yeah, and there's an element always of emotional attachment to heroes. People find that they're playing a particular hero well for a period of time, always tend to gravitate closer to that, I guess, even if it doesn't fit into the meta or the actual draft sometimes. Talking of which, we've got the Legion Commander back. Now, it's hard to believe that we're going to see it as a 5 again, but why not? It worked okay the first time round. I know Pappy was a little facetious in the interview afterwards. I think he was playing with Jake a little bit afterwards just for fun and saying, no, Legion Commander's it's a thing now. But actually, it genuinely could be, Kevin.
Yeah, it's he scales okay. If you think about trading, Legion's actually one of the better off lanes in terms of trading hits. She has kind of low HP, low armor, but her HP's high, and with Moment of Courage, her passive, then she gets free hits. So it can basically be a solution to Phoenix. You can dispel the Fire Spirit's attack speed slow, and sometimes you're going to get an extra hit back, gaining lifesteal. So from there, and also pushing waves and nuking, to also guaranteeing disables, like being able to duel somebody for 4 seconds where they can't react as long as you cast duel first is incredible, because that means that all of the heroes that do deal damage, the rest of your team, doesn't matter if you have any other disables, it's like duel plus damage, you have a kill every time. So he can farm a blink, he can cover his allies until then, and he can also lane well. So it's got some good stuff going for it.
He didn't go blink last time though, right?
I actually didn't watch the game.
He went some weird build. He went tanky, but I can't quite remember. Oh, that's an Enigma. I think this hero's so good right now.
It's early though, isn't it?
It is, but you have to pick it early. Everyone's banning it out in the second phase, so you have to put that risk in mind. And plus, you can, if you draft it, if you have the second pick, what you do is you draft it second, and then you immediately get the ban. So then you just ban out the silencer. So the first 2 can't really ban you out.
We've seen the answer to this for Team Secret. They like running the Rubik for Yapzor. I don't know necessarily whether Virtus.Pro will let that through, will they?
I'd imagine you ban that out as your second.
Yeah, some teams are banning second phase against Rubik. And they weren't picking it every time, but definitely a lot. Against Enigma, I think Legion's still pretty good, though. If he doesn't have a Lincoln Sphere and you can duel him, it'd be fantastic.
There you go.
And also just nuking in lane versus the Eidolons, or the Eidolons attacking you at all, means more of your Moment of Courage procs, so it should be pretty okay as zoning him. And you're going to be way faster as a hero, too. Legion's actually pretty speedy, so you can chase down Enigma and score kills sometimes.
I think the Rubik, though, for this team makes a lot of sense. It fills in a lot of holes. It pushes the wave, it gives Yapzor a team fighter.
It did get banned, though.
Yeah.
Does put the Enigma under a little bit of as tight a leash, should we say.
Yeah. So now for Secret, it's what do you really do to deal with that? So they ban the Storm, which I think is a very good ban against the 2 heroes that they currently have. Storm is one of the better ways to deal with Weaver, too.
In what ways do you think it's good against Legion? Because I guess my initial thought was dueling him is great, right? Because he's locked down, but is it because you can just super kite, or...
You can kite, and more than anything, if it's a support Legion, he doesn't really represent a threat on the map.
Okay. Unless there's like him plus another hero there.
Yeah, because the blink comes really late, and by that time you can usually farm up Lincolns pretty quickly. And then if you're a support Legion, it's really hard to go blink into Halberd, right? You just don't really have that much farm priority.
Maybe Force could work, but
even then,
yeah,
you're a 5-position Legion. Like, you're never gonna... It was hard for Puppy to find farm in that game to begin with. What he did was he just roamed with the team and would press the attack people.
VP looking pretty confident.
Yeah, and I really like playing Storm against Weaver, so... Because even if you get Lincolns, if you have Orchid, you kill him. If you land on top of him, get the pull off, and time it perfectly, it's really hard for Weavers to instantly respond, especially if you carry Dust with you.
And there's almost nothing Weaver can do in response to.
Yeah. You don't really have kill potential on him. So it's one of those like 2 different ways that it works out for you. There's heavy team fight though on the side of VP. And you sort of have to address that if you're secret. So there's 2 ways to do that right now. It's either A, you go more into the laning phase and try to dodge because it's not a ton of catch. Like, I don't think of Enigma or Phoenix as catch heroes because Enigma's Black Hole is such a long cooldown that the threat of it is more about a late game situation than it is in the mid game. Like, if he holds you, then you have like a 2.5 minute window where he doesn't really represent a threat to you.
Just to... What were we talking about earlier with Puppy's build?
Item build.
Yeah, he went Quelling.
Wow.
And then
very
Lotus.
expensive item.
He went Lotus?
Yeah, he had a 14-minute Quelling Blade and a 29-minute Lotus.
He was against what, what's that hero? Nature's Prophet, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a Pugnat. Phoenix Invoker.
So they took Kunkka, and in response they take Bane. I really like Kunkka as a response to Enigma and Phoenix. I think the boat buff is very good against it. So if you're trying to get executes off, you just throw the boat into the middle, even if he's got BKB going. You'll save your teammates for that extra time second, and it might allow people to get BKBs off and stuff.
And a fresh Coddle pick here. Interesting.
Yeah, and I think the vision game is also very important against the Enigma. Plus, you just picked up 2 laners, so that's the way that you're going to deal with that.
So now it's basically harder to get your black holes off or your egg setups because they're going to be able to see you first, possibly get duels.
And Coddle, I think, is one of the better ways to deal with Enigma's Eidolons as a support. Because what's happening nowadays, like, I just played a pub, if you saw. I was lying against Enigma. What am I supposed to do there?
Especially if he doubles his Eidolons, there's nothing you can do to zone him. Right? I mean, they can do some things with Legion because of overwhelming odds, but yeah, this gives them more options. Can counteract some of the split pushing. In some ways, they could split push much better than their opponents can right now.
Yeah,
between Enigma and Phoenix and Bane.
So far, though, it's not super easy for them to break the black hole. So I feel like they should prioritize on trying to win the laning phase and snowball.
I feel like their heroes are so mobile though, and they can approach from so many different angles because they have vision advantage that all they need to do is spread their opponents out a little bit and then just pick them off one by one, or mana drain them and then force a fight or something like that could work.
So they picked Drow.
Okay, so now VP has a really good-looking Drow lineup. It just didn't look like it from the start.
Yeah, it was well hidden in that regard.
Very well hidden. We barely talked about it. Hasn't got out of the first phase bans very often. Definitely hasn't got out of phase 2 bans very often.
That's definitely very good against Weaver at many stages of the game because you can silence him and prevent his ability usage. There's not that much crazy upfront damage. I mean, things like Kunkka can be good at guaranteeing draw kills, but it's more like a rotation sort of thing.
I think they need some sort of frontliner mid, though.
I feel like it's kind of bad to be a Coddle here, too. Like, Drow can... If he's not careful, he could get killed on laning stage, too.
They've only played 3 Coddles in the last 12 months. Last one was 5 months ago at MDL. They won that match against Infamous. Before that, it was a captain's draft where they beat Vici.
So they banned Invoker. Huh. I'm trying to think what would be good here.
Yeah, Invoker would have made the gank threat on the map so much higher. With just like Bane alone, you could like solo kill Weaver for a long period in the game. So basically they're probably doing support Legion, but they're not hard committed to it. It'll be Coddle support. It's probably mid Kunkka, and they can put Weaver either off lane or safe lane with either player. Man, it's so hard to even know where they'll place these.
Yeah.
All depends on lane. I mean, is Weaver okay against Drown lane? I would assume so. I would assume it's pretty good.
There is no Mirana ban right now, is there?
Yeah, I think Mirana's pretty good here. It's kind of annoying to play against Kunkka.
On VP side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great with me.
I could see Mirana or I could see Lina. I like both those options at the moment.
Yeah, I like that. The only big negative is that they don't have good run at you heroes. Like the Secret's just going to run them the whole time.
Well, if you take a hero like Mirana or Lina, you can match heroes. Like, it's easy to match the pace for everybody else. So they abandoned out the Brew, which I think is one of the best ways to deal with Drow strats as a whole. And it also makes it really hard for Enigma to play because you can just run the Spear Panda, the Storm one, and just try to find the Enigma.
Why would you say it's good against Drow strats? Brew?
Because you just kind of run at the Dro, and frontliners that can blink, get on top of you, pop the ult. It's hard for Dro to play.
Yeah, and you can't really kill the spirits or the Brewlings.
They don't have easy ways to deal with the Brewlings at all, with the heroes that they have. So I think VP, I'm still okay with Lina or Mirana. I think Invoker would have been a very good response, but...
Isn't there some pick on Secret side that could...
Oh,
okay.
Oh, they take Huskar. That's interesting.
That looks pretty nasty. I mean, it's going to be able to out-lane the Kunkka.
Ooh. Did you see that coming?
No.
Yeah, I didn't either. I think VP's draft was really well hidden. Like the Dro pick 3rd or 4th. I don't think anybody saw that coming.
Yeah, very good disguises from Virtus.Pro.
Yeah. And the Huskar is excellent against Kunkka mid. It's just annoying to play. You can't really step forward as a melee hero.
There's a wry smile on Puppy's face as he kind of comes to realize that not only does he have to deal with a Drow now, he has to deal with a Huskar as well.
It's good against Coddle as well. I played that recently.
And they'll go Clinks.
Okay, so now they have to switch up their lanes a little bit to try to make this work.
So Clinks' strafe makes him dodge all ranged attacks. So in the right moments, he can easily kill his opponents.
So they'll put Clinks mid, Kunkka safe lane, Weaver off lane to deal with this.
Almost the full pentagram.
Oh man,
almost. 4 lines missing to get the full lane. There are 10 lines on the pentagram, but we've got 6 of them completed.
There's a lot of red though.
Which a lot of red is good, by the way, because it means that Virtus.Pro's heroes are a massive threat to Team Secrets right now. So Clinks is under threat. There's a lot of threat towards Kunkka in there as well, and 4 to the Legion Commander. So in theory, Virtus.Pro should be able to win this.
Wow.
Is that a sentiment shared, however, by the humans on the panel? I wonder. Kevin?
I feel like Clinks is a really solid reaction, but I'm scared. I feel like VP just had this draft planned out last night, and they got what they wanted, so I'm going to say VP.
Okay. Does feel like one of those theory crafted, if we get this, we'll do this, if they do this, we'll do this.
Yeah. I mean, the 5th pick felt like a 6th pick or something.
Yeah. Got 2 heroes at the end. It's 6v5, Will. Who are you going with?
I think they're going to do a lot better than their Twitter account. I'll go with VP as well.
Right then, let's move on swiftly before we get into any trouble ourselves. The boys think that Virtus.Pro have had the much better draft, it would seem, on paper, but we all know that paper doesn't make any difference when you head into the arena. So let's do that right now. Your commentary team for game number 1. It's Virtus.Pro versus Secret.
And what a series it should be as well. And already things heating up, really. This first draft, we're getting Huskars and Drows coming out from VP. And Secret...
Another Legion support.
Prepared? It is.
Another Legion support.
It is indeed the Legion support that we saw them play earlier on. This is going to be a bit of a harder test for them to make that hero pick work in. And what do we reckon? Is this draft where it's over for Secret, or what? Can they deal with a Huskar Drow lineup?
It could be difficult, but there is some very fun stuff here. So the first thing I noticed, even though there's a lot of things to notice, was there's a Kunkka with a Coddle. We could see some Chakra double Tidebringers come into play.
Sure.
That's one thing that I'm like, ooh, that could be really fun. I think Coddle's always just like a little bit of an unknown too. The hero can really make a difference so much because of how powerful Blinding Light can be. It can mess up a lot of combos. So we'll see how much they can do with it. And let's see how much Puppy can do with this Legion Commander. It seems they really like it versus the Phoenix. It also has good purpose as well versus like the Bane. This press the attack, we're going to have to be watching quite a lot to see what Puppy can make happen with it, removing all these debuffs that VP does have. But yeah, what a weird draft again by Secret. It does seem like they are really going outside the box. They have certain counter picks that they did. I do like that they went for though, like the Weaver LC in the beginning opening versus that Phoenix can be pretty neat, and then Clinks versus the Huskar. They're gonna lane that Clinks versus Huskar, and Clinks is very good in that matchup as long as you don't get too stacked up. Because the problem is Strafe does have a bit of a long cooldown, so you can't get too far behind. Once you get a couple levels of it, you're a lot happier because that cooldown does start to decrease versus the Huskar's fire spears. So let's see what we get. I've also seen Pasha having incredible success on this Enigma down bottom. Every single game with this build, the quad mangoes that he goes, and now he has Drow Aura too. So Eidolon's a Drow Aura can always be pretty threatening. We'll see what this safe lane of Secret can do.
We'll see. Solo is able to grab that bounty rune. 2 for 2 on the runes. He'll be getting chased out by the 2 of them, but he has that heal. Tango as well, so he'll be fine.
Roger should have trouble getting his eggs successful unless they have like the follow-up control in this game, right? They have the press the attack, they have the strafe, they have Weaver, the 3 things that are pretty good naturally at killing it. And it looks like right off the bat, they're actually going to put the Drow just sacked top to begin with, and Solo's going to start just going toward the mid lane to secure no one to have a bit of a decent start versus that Clinks. I love this move by Solo. This is a classic thing that he used to do. All right. Now he goes back top, and he'll chill with Ramses, who's Ramses FN, my boy, as he's tagged up right now.
Puppy, Roger. The Fire Spirits, Roger. Just keep another pushed away from that bottom lane, and yeah, I just most interesting how well that Clintz can perform, as you say. You know, Solo turning up for a little bit, pushing him back a bit. We'll see how much of a difference that does make as the lane goes on, and obviously so far we are seeing the CS rack up for Husker.
Yeah, that's already troublesome for mid one here. You see, no one has actually opted to not get the Burning Spears at the start. We've been seeing this build a little bit more commonly. Is you start with your Berserker Blood, then you just start leveling your Inner Vitality a couple of times so you can just get that lane sustain. Bottom, we also saw Roger, the reason he stepped in like that and was playing so far up was he wanted to block the pull camp. Something really important when you're playing with an Enigma in your lane is not allowing the opposing safe laners to pull, so they can't reset the equilibrium.
I'm seeing this sort of the torrent and the illuminate spam.
Yeah.
Quite annoying on that top lane. Ramses to have to deal with.
Oh man, I'm so looking forward to the double Tidebringers. He's gonna have to have the max level Tidebringer and yeah, just pretty much max Tidebringer and 2 points in Chakra to be able to do so. But that is fun. Do you go Echo Saber? Nah, you don't want to go Echo Saber, even if you're going to be doing that. You definitely just go Nova. Right, because if you're going to do like double,
just have it that little bit quicker.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds pretty bad, but that would be funny.
Bottom. Poppy and Roger just ready, going at one another here. As Roger does have the Fire Spirits, and again with that slow and dive, he's more than fine keeping the distance. Mid lane, 9 for 6, 7 for 1, no one's reign continuing.
The little things matter, right? In these type of matchups, he has Drow Aura, so even like +2 damage can even make a difference sometimes in these. This mid one does get a haste, but starting to fall pretty far behind. 12-7. The animation of Huskar when you start getting low is just impossible to contest with his most ranged heroes. You have to get so close to the creep to actually last hit it before Huskar can. We've already got tips coming out in mid one, getting very aggressive in mid, looking for no one. Doesn't quite chunk him down yet, but
and now no one goes straight back in for some reason.
And now mid one will suicide.
But that's a big win mid one getting first blood.
Yeah,
and a much bigger chunk of gold. So
the tips all around.
No one's sort of accepting his fate and giving that bonus to Secret.
Okay.
I mean, I guess figured that either way had to get back to base because he wanted to refuel and such, and he felt maybe that he was going to die anyway either way, so it was the only way to play. I don't know, would it have been better for him to just sit back and wait for regen, or is it better to give that up and get back in so you can sort of get the matchup again where you're back in with full health and you can start dominating the lane again? I mean, there might be sort of some sort of thought like that.
It looked like it, right? Because he looked like he walked up and died. I mean, it's a first blood, though. That's the problem. So it's costly, but now maybe he feels like since he has his health reset, he can dominate.
I think it could be something like that.
That's very interesting. I mean, we've been seeing a lot of suicides coming out from the players.
But not really first blood
suicide. Not first blood, so yeah.
Especially in sort of a one-on-one.
Oh, that's handy.
Mid one. Oh.
Gets the touch. Has a salve, though. But mid one. Forced to use the strafe defensively. Zai.
Top Zai. Solo should be able to punch him through the Nightmare. The Nightmare is taken off, but a couple of right clicks from Solo will get the kill. Solo securing the place and space for Ramses to find that farm up top.
They're not able to really bully Ramses too much
he's
here.
Still farming.
He's still farming. Like, usually you see these Drow lanes get pressured really hard and they really start to fall behind, but Ramses is getting a good time last hitting. Zai's not falling behind either, though.
No, for sure. Zai is still able to get a fair bit of CS, but yet Ramses is really doing well against that constant Illuminate and Torrent spam between these two very annoying heroes to lane against.
I feel like Secret wants to come out, like, they want to have like an incredibly good laning phase because their team fight is just, it's awkward in comparison to VPs once the game starts actually getting the rhythm going.
They do get the Torrent and blast onto Solo, but Solo picks up the bounty rune. Zai got Torrent back up in a few seconds, could try and chase this one. Solo's couldn't turn. He's got the brain sap mid lane. Mid one will tick down to the fire. The searing arrows nearly enough to get no one in return, but not quite, as no one will survive. Rotation from Roger, helping him get that kill on mid, and keeping no one on top of the lane.
Solo Is he going to suicide someone? No, Shrine's up. Okay, Solo's going to just use the Shrine as well with Roger. Literally now Pasha's just left alone bottom. We see tons of rotations coming out. Weaver can, for the most part, be okay down bottom here now. I think Puppy's just going to be moving around wherever he deems necessary, and Nisha can just have his way down here.
I can believe Pasha quite a bit there. We see he does have a Geminate attack on the Shukuchi, but the Malefice from Pasha will hold him back a little bit from diving. He does go in on the last instance of the Malefice, so knows that he can still close the gap onto Pasha. Can he find the kill, though? Pasha trying to hide, but cannot escape. Nice play from Nisha, playing aggressively as the Malefice comes to an end. At the same time, though, in the middle lane, again, mid one, suffering the consequences of Roger rotating into his lane and setting up for more action, favoring the no-one Huskar.
I feel like it had to have been an intentional death. Like
I
now,
think it was.
now the more you think about it, like
I think it was.
Look at the way he's playing the lane, how much it's actually benefited him, even though he gave so much gold to the Clinks. It's
I mean, that's
very
the thing.
intriguing.
Like, sure, you give some gold to the Clinks, but at the end of the day, does it make that matchup any better for the Clinks, being a little bit of money ahead? Not really, because of how heavily you can dominate that lane as no one. No one does now for those. He gets caught off guard, actually, by a rotation from Nisha. Nisha leaving that bottom lane to make that play. Up top as well, Solo just juking out Zai. He'll be fine, unless Zai does manage to turn and get a hit. Solo has to be a little careful with the angle that he has. A torrent's coming out, but Solo will not get hit by it. Zai falls as well. Puppy.
Action-packed already.
Can't quite find Solo either. The nuke will come out, but the slow's there from Ramses, and Ramses is getting closer and closer to that level 6, where these other lanes were already Pasha and no one. Sure, no one just died, but overall, they're doing very well for themselves. They're going to get even harder to lane against that extra increased damage from the Drow being kicked off when the ultimate's online.
Yeah. I mean, Nisha's rotation was really clever, though, right? Gets the bottle.
It caught him off.
Goes and gets a DD rune, catches the Huskar completely off guard.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Weaver versus Huskar with the DD this early on. Very fortunate. As Nisha continues his reign down bottom. But yeah, Pasha, like you said, still doing okay. 21 denies, 21 last hits. We'll get that level 6 at a decent time. But Nisha is trying to bully him as much as possible. And Pasha.
He's going to get him again. He's got it.
Nisha.
Yeah, he could be that factor. As you said, not only in the rotation, strong against the Huskar, but as the game goes on, you know, if he can play from ahead, he can be that physical punch that they require to take down the Huskar. Sure, they have got the Clinks, but the game's going to be a little bit slower for mid-one, as he has already suffered having to be the one to deal with the matchup in the middle lane. As top. Bit of a sleep set up onto Zai. It's pretty tanky as this level 5 Concurrent does have Puppy with him with the heal. Puppy charging forward. Zai might still fall here as Ramses persists, chasing down. And indeed, they can turn their attention towards Puppy and get themselves another one more hit. Solo. He wants it. He's going in for it, and he will get it. He is falling low, but he turns with the brain sap. The backup is there. Solo, the infused raindrop, keeping him alive. He'll get out. He lives as VP crushed that top lane. A double kill for Ramses. More money in the bank for this Drow.
As soon as that 6 comes, just like you're mentioning, the increased power that you can do.
These other lanes are going to be so tough. Level 7 Drow. The mid lane and bottom lane. The difficulty is going to be stepped up. 17 plus damage at this stage of the game, making all the difference. And this play, again up top, Solo just able to sort of bait them in. Puppy desperately trying to find something in return, but by the time he realized he couldn't, it was too late. He loses his life, and Solo just going in. That first instance of the raindrop saving him the once, and then this turnaround saving him a second time, the infused raindrop.
Yeah, and Roger getting the tower aggro as well there to make sure that his buddy can survive.
Very flashy stuff from VP.
Relatively early start. Close game here, though, at least in the gold. Zai's falling a bit behind the chorus, but the Weaver, Nisha.
I mean, he's making up for a lot of sort of the other lanes of this. Bottom lane, Pasha has to be careful. 2 times we've seen Nisha be able to outplay the Enigma in the 1v1.
He wants to try to secure the bounty rune. Oh, that looked like a bit of a misclick. He used his TP there.
Yeah, he did.
But he will look to try to get both runes, but Solo will claim one. Will Solo actually die here? He does not have a TP. Solo has a sleep. We'll make Nisha work for it a bit here as Puppy dispels it, but should inevitably die.
More money for Nisha. Dominating on this Weaver. 4 kills so far at the 10-minute mark for this safe lane Weaver.
And there's not the craziest amount of control on either side, really. I'd say both. Like it's like Enigma with the Malefice and Black Hole. There's of course the Bane spells, but Puppey's you have to expect that Puppey's going to be there with the attack a lot of the time. So Nisha could have a really free time with the elusiveness of this hero.
Yeah,
fun.
He's on track for a good timing on Diffusal Blade. And it's not going to make no one's life easy when he starts getting rotated upon by this Weaver that's going to have these quick item timings once it comes through. But still top lane, Ramses able to farm away very safely. Mid lane, mid one, just about under a 1,000 gold behind the No One Huskar at the moment.
So I was talking about how like the Secret wants to do really well in the lanes because VP has this overwhelming amount of team fight. The big thing is now, since they're doing well in the lanes, all's looking pretty okay for Secret. They're not up by any like huge margin, but it's really going to be can they contest the Roshan, right? Because we're going to see VP, they're going to go for Rosh pretty soon. They have a Drow Huskar lineup, and they have an overbearing team fight. So that's probably the next goal we're going to be seeing within the next 5 to 10 minutes on their side.
Bottom an attempt with the bugs, does still catch on. Solo up top, Yapzor able to TP back to base in time before dying. Solo will fall behind the tier 1 bottom.
Roger forced to egg, so he can survive versus mid one.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Still very close in the numbers, despite, I think, sort of an early 11 minutes that could have gone a whole lot worse for Secret. Against this tough sort of Drow Huskar lanes of VP. They're holding their own pretty well, Secret, and now they're looking to strike straight in the mid lane. The Torrent, the bow coming in, mass TP's coming through. They can't kill no one in time, as there will be the backup. Secret have to retreat, cannot commit for the kill onto no one. You see Roger, then obviously the Roger does not have an egg available, but he's back underneath the tier 1 tower. VP here is the format.
Nisha still stalking.
Doesn't have the bugs though.
Yep.
So hard for him to really go for a kill.
He knows Roger's very low though.
That's true. Roger is still very vulnerable.
They do know he's there as well.
He's going to show mid. But yeah, the wrong side of the tower, so Nisha can't quite get to him. He has got the bugs in a second if he wants to sort of poke around and play with no one. He's got the bugs, he's got a 12 charge 1, time lapse 2.
Still a bit tough to go for this Huskar. 11 armor, still has that armlet too. Could be at risk if you don't get it before the toggle happens. Courier though, yeah.
Not quite in vision. There's top lane. There's a grip coming out. They may have lost the tower, but mid one, he'll take out to the Fire Spirits. VP get a kill. Same time, Ramses and Pasha trying to take a tier 1 tower of their own as they're pushing
wraparound though.
Could catch them off as Nisha. He's in with the bugs. Ramses immediately dueled Puppey on the support Legion, able to get his first bit of bonus damage at 13 minutes in. Not bad at all. Pasha's on the retreat. Nisha does have eyes on him, but Pasha will be fine.
There's something comical about just seeing Puppey playing Legion. Earlier, he had so much dual damage in the last game.
How much did he end on in the last? So
I don't know. I glanced a couple of times. He had like 80 something at some point. He tells people not to do it, and then he does it again. This guy.
What have we got? Pasha does have the Midas complete.
So, okay, I'm looking forward to see this. I was talking about it in the other room, but could this be a game where Puppey goes for an Aether Lens and he tries to duel the Enigma if there is a chance for him to do so?
I don't
He's got Arcane Boots.
I mean, but he did before
He did do
as
that
well.
last time, that's true.
Yeah. Roger, he's going to have to egg. Mid one, can he take it down? I don't... Oh, he can just. He knows that he could, and he stood his ground mid one, and he'll get the kill.
Nice little solo kill.
Just enough to take him down. Going, of course, for the Desolator first this game, mid one, to help kill that Huskar.
Definitely. In this game, you want to have as much increased physical damage for Sid as possible. How's Yapzor doing? I think he already has like 2.5 pieces of his Aghanims, which is pretty remarkable. He's been farming a lot on this Coddle, more than the Kunkka on Zai, which you see happen quite a lot with Secret now.
Yeah, Puppey at the moment just sort of setting up behind him. If anything kicks off, Solo's starting to come in, look to get some more coverage, and he's bringing no one as well.
They want to claim They want to claim tier 1s.
They'll see Yapzor. Set up with the Nightmare. No one moving in to offer the damage. He'll dive forward, and Yapzor, he's gone. The rest of VP also in the neighborhood as Puppey and Nisha. They've got to be careful. And leading forward, Nisha has to respect the fact that Pasha is on the high ground. Could look to come up with the combo. The Fiend's Grip's down, but the boat crash will cancel the channeling, and now allowing Nisha to Shikuchi away. They'll try and commit here, but there's Pasha quickly with the black hole. Just holds down mid one, who tried to come in into the Clinks, but Secret, they'd already kind of split up. Nisha trying to poke with him, but I don't know if you can stick around here, as this is not really a fight the Secret want to take unless they're very careful about it. Nisha still looking at an opportunity to get in. VP are sort of stuck in a bit of an awkward place. They don't have Black Hole, but they do have the damage. Puppey just melts to the arrows of no one. They've got the Malefice onto Nisha. Nisha, one more right click onto Solo would do it. The bugs, they're going to miss. He doesn't get it onto Solo. A blast from Yapsor sets Solo apart from the rest of his team, as Solo will fall. No one. Still low, but he's still scary. Jumps onto Nisha. Nisha's got the time lapse. Did close the gap to get some damage onto Zai, but no one falls. The control's there from Zai, disabling the Huskar and taking him out. As VP did stick around that little too long. They could not get out. Secret trapped them and made sure that they could get some kills in revenge for losing mid one.
They do get what they came for, though. They did claim the tower. I think that's the most important thing for VP. Even though they lose no one, it's really a lot because of that torrent. It's really strange watching these fights when there's not that much control, right? You see everybody's just kind of running around, not able to catch anything.
Still a very close game. 16 minutes in, a 1K lead for Secret. I really do feel that's only gonna mean good things when you're against this Drow Huskar lineup, a lineup that you would, on paper, expect to excel from the off.
Ooh. Roger was invis up on their shrine. Looks like Secret went for a smoke, and he actually broke it instantly. He wanted to get some type of duel setup into looking for Ramses. And now VP, they've spread themselves out. They're all kind of just farming for a bit here. Well, they're trying to push their lanes out in the majority. Roger does have to be careful not to get surrounded here, though. Puppey is on a warding mission. Ramses will spot him. Puppey's in a world of hurt.
No way out of this one. Tip comes out for no one as well as Puppey hits the deck.
Yeah, they're setting up the entries to their jungle with sentry wards right now on the side of VP because they know that this is what's going to start happening. The Secret's going to try to invade, and VP just wants to be able to farm jungle a bit here so that Ramses can get his Shadow Blade finished up so that he can actually be a lot safer. Because like we said, there's not a lot of lockdown on either side. Not a reliable one, that is. It's like Kunkka X and the Duel is the best ones for Secret. And like we said on VP. The Bane one is, but there is always going to be that Dispel if Puppey is there. And the full Aghanim is 17 minutes. So daytime, Secret will be a lot happier, and especially if they can get a gem, they can clear out some of the vision. But there isn't really that much on the side of VP, just kind of counter wards right now.
Top. Trying for the setup, Roger. So the Supernova to rely on, and he'll back away and pop it. Puppey down bottom. Trying to see if he can get himself a bit of farm. Pasha pushes in. Soloist there with the setup. They've got the sleep. No one coming in as well as Puppey will not get himself out alive. Zai does turn up, goes for the X. Torrent setup onto Solo. They're bringing members in Secret, seeing if they can find a support kill in return, but Solo knows he can go for the TP. There's nothing to cancel it. So no trade as VP keep everybody alive as they escape.
And they've got some deep wards down, and during all that, Ramses is farming and pretty much now has that Shadow Blade finished up.
He's been getting so much space.
Yeah.
I mean, we already saw as well, Ramses, his lane, going against the Kunkka and the Terrorblade, it could have been a disaster in terms of the pressure and sort of getting bullied out of it, but he was able to consistently farm, and now just keeping sort of that area of the map safe for Ramses to move around.
They're getting a lot of these big items, to be honest, soon. Like the mech's finished on the Enigma, and they're going to be able to go for that type of Roche play. But here, Ramses actually gets collapsed on. Can he actually shadow it? Oh, the Shadow Amulet.
That's going to blow him out of there. He gets away.
His Shadow Blade was coming on the Courier, too. That would have been a very costly death for him. And I believe also no one is going to be getting a Halberd very soon in this game, too. And Halberd is the dream. He's versus a Clinks. He's versus a Weaver. Absolutely perfect item in this game. As it usually is for the Huskar anyway, but versus ranged heroes, even more so because that increased disarm time.
And that early-ish evasion. It's going to make it very hard for them to sort of guarantee that quick kill, at least without no one having the time to kick back a lot of damage.
Yeah, they're gonna want to get some type of like MKBs early on, but now because they've got a Desolator first on mid one, he's gonna be like, oh, I kind of need a BKB at some point, but he might actually just go for raw damage, just Deso into MKB.
I mean, that is could you not make a case this game that an MKB rush would be better than a Desolator rush on Clinks?
Probably. I think maybe he wanted to get this a little bit earlier. It's only 20 minutes.
It's just sort of slowed down.
That slowed down a lot.
The Supernova comes in. VP starting to poke around for a fight. Secret trying to retreat, but mid one, he's been Maleficed. The Black Hole sucking him in, takes the Clinks out of it.
Uh-oh, Puppey now 2 top. No one wants him.
He should be able to get the jump in, and he does. Straight in on top of Puppey, and this support Legion has not got much of a chance unless the heal's enough. It is.
Oh, the raindrop blocking the damage. The raindrop blocked enough.
Oh, jeez.
Blocking that added
And he'll be able to
stacked
get the
up fire
bounty ring
spears,
on the
and
way
now no
out.
one.
They might kill him. They've got the X mark the turret. Nisha does have to be careful. Maybe they're not going to kill him. He is a Huskar, big old Huskar at the end of the day. And those two don't quite have the potential to take him down at this point of the game.
It is also nighttime for another 3 minutes or so, so VP's feeling pretty good about just playing separated across the map. We see them all over the place actually right now. And I'd imagine they have to be setting up their wards and getting ready for a rush soon.
Ramses, he's getting a little greedy.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
He sees it. He sees Yapsor. He's gonna go. He didn't count it for the fact that mid one could be there standing by Yapsor's side, as that is going to be a straight up feed from Ramses. Didn't expect the Clinks to be there.
It wasn't even a recall, right? It was just the Clinks being there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Clinks was just there. Yeah.
Getting caught out unexpectedly. But yeah, we do see Solo is placing the wards. They're starting to get ready for that Roche soon. They've got their Halberd, they've got the Shadow Blade, they've got pretty much all the tools to be able to take that one. They might wait for Pasha's Blink Dagger. Wow, I just realized Roger's also already level 13 too, so high level egg. Yeah, team fight around Roche Pit's gonna be pretty hard for Secret to take. Daytime might be the thing that can secure it though. Having that extra vision could allow them to set up. They didn't get the D ward though on the most important ward right now, at least the VP has on the map, which is securing that Roche position.
Let's see how much this change things having that does. So it does obviously open up opportunities to go for Roche.
This is the play. They're gonna look for a fight into a Roche or just force the Roche. It's one or the other. So they're just gonna start it here.
Okay. I mean, why not? What is Secret gonna do about this?
It's gonna die way too fast, and I think even contesting it is too hard during the nighttime because they've got a minute 40 till day. So free Roche for VP, and this is the concern we kept mentioning. It's really all about the Roche, especially when you've got, I mean, when you've got a Huskar, it's all about the Roche. When you've got a Drow, it's all about the Roche. Throw them both together. Yeah.
Mid one does see Solo, but Solo, he's going to turn. Nightmare's there. He's got his boys coming in as well with the backup as Solo will heal up with the Brain Sap. Supernova's going to be down. They'll lose Solo. They'll lose the egg as well as Secret. I would say both of them. In fact, Nisha gets himself on top of Pasha as it all falls apart quickly for VP. They'll turn with the three-man Gust. No one jumping forward. He'll find at least the Legion Commander in trade. A buyback's going to be there from Pasha as well as Nisha tries to fight on, focusing Ramses. Doesn't quite have enough damage to finish the Drow. No one has ticking down. The Spirit Vessel upon him, reducing that regen, but he can still armlet toggle. It's going to be okay for now. So Pasha bought back for sort of that little defense there, but Secret able to strike very hard, despite the fact that VP are the ones with the Aegis, as they get themselves in from the top. They kill that egg incredibly quickly. I mean, as you already said, this is always going to be a hard game for the Supernova.
Yeah.
And then the team fight falls apart. Pasha just in a position where he was not ready to blow the black hole. It's mid lane. Quick combo onto no one, but he's got backup again. Pasha does, as we say, still have that black hole if Solo can find a catch.
He's placing wards to try to get the catch. That's 2 wards he placed for this here.
Let's see what he can get. He has been surrounded. Pasha's going to start walking in, but Nisha's already working on Pasha from the side. Also, Weaver gets the bugs out onto them. Jump forward for no one. The black hole's going to be laid down. It catches one. As there's the side of VP finding the Clinks. They'll look towards more as they're trying to escape Puppey, but Ramses finds the Frost Arrow. Slows down Puppey. Kills him. As both teams doing their best. I mean, you can really feel no one really making big mistakes here. It's just both teams pushing and finding those little trades as we still sit around that just 1K difference between the two lineups.
They're just duking it out, honestly. This is just like a game of battles. It's 16 to 19, 24 minutes in. Solo was so ready to take a team fight there. He places the high ground ward, then he places another ward to try to catch. Look at the area right there of the team fight. There's 3 sentries, 2 obs wards. That shows how much VP wants to just take these fights right now when they've got this Aegis.
Secret, even though they lose 2, they don't lose anything more. You know, they're certainly limiting the casualties in these fights where VP are absolutely just charging in and gunning for it.
So there's some fun interactions that I've been seeing too here. It's like we always see the Mana Leak Blinding Light, right, ooming people. It actually did that to Solo and he got stunned, so he got his Fiend's Grip canceled. I also saw the Blinding Light with the Swarm. We see people hitting the bugs and they can't actually kill the bugs off themselves because of the miss rate. So it could be a bit annoying, and it is daytime now, so Secret, they are going to look to make their own aggressive move. There's still an Aegis on no one for a bit of time left. As we do see that, of course, it is a Blink Dagger picked up by Yapsor too. I think he wants to just keep his distance. Ramses.
Middle. They found the Drought. Ramses, no backup in as he is deleted. Gone from the defense a few times where Ramses has been out a little too far. I mean, he is obviously getting the farm with his aggressive posturing. As you can see, still top 3 net worth. Him, Nisha, and no one all sitting very close to one another in current value.
I mean, yeah, it is really an incredibly close game. It's really just Yapsor being like that big difference maker in the net worth, right? Being that top 5.
It's middle lane. They're trying to go for the combo onto Pasha. Defensive Nightmare from Solo. Allows Pasha to be safe with the Torrent. Tower getting focused though. VP, are they able to do anything to keep them off this? They aren't, as the tier 2 will be taken. Secret. Despite being the team playing against the Drow, Strat will be the first team to take a tier 2 tower this game. As they've only lost the 2 tier 1s themselves. They've still got all 3 tier 2s alive. Secret, they're pressuring VPs.
What is Ramses going to itemize for here? You see, Huskar has his own BKB now, so he can't. The lockdown is now gone. Pretty much, they only have the duel that can really come out for him. Ramsey's still just holding on to his money. Hasn't really committed forward for anything else. This is the X plus the Clinks. Walks up, takes the tower, and we'll be safe. Back away.
And they're doing a great job of taking these objectives. Secret.
Yeah.
And VP still sort of unable to find that big wombo combo black hole supernova that they hope to find to really sort of set them ahead and allow them the chance to start pressuring back the lanes.
But they do have the positioning items now, right? Pasha has the Blink Dagger after that mech, who's going for the Guardian Greaves next, but the Blink, most important. Because if you see them start to set up for that egg, could be those situations where they do get grabbed out. Because we do see Secret's lineup, and their ranged isn't really the best, right? It's majority of the heroes that are going to be hitting the egg are going to be those that are within the range of that black hole. And yes, 91% efficiency. Very nice. I wonder how does that factor in cooldown reduction? Do we have an update on that? Because I could maybe mess with it. Yes, it does. Oh, very nice, JJ. And he catches the kill at the same time. Yeah. Absolutely.
But extra bit of dual damage. What, second dual 1 so far this game for him?
Yes, it is.
On that support Legion Commander, so that bonus damage starting to add up.
They've got 10 seconds left until nighttime too, so they're trying to get as much as possible during that day. And the beauty about Coddle is you can always be playing like this kind of splitty game, because you can just recall people across the map constantly, as we just saw there, and bringing mid one. And mid one is committing forward for that BKB, as we said. It felt like he maybe wants to go full damage, but it's a game where you still want to get it. It's too important versus Phoenix in general.
Yeah, and just as you're ensuring, as you say, you can take down that supernova.
Yep. Ramses looking for Puppy.
He'll look for a free kill, and he'll get a free kill. Gets in, gets out.
Solo will walk back forward.
He does have the grip. Nisha's going to be there as well as Yapsor inside. There's a lot of backup. Solo will go for the defensive Nightmare. He's been surrounded. Quick brain sap, but mid one turns, has the damage offered to get the kill. Boat comes crashing through onto Ramses.
Oh, he burns all his mana. He walks with the mana leak, so no mana on Ramses. And he's committed forward for the Manta.
VP, they may be without the Bane, but they can absolutely still look for an opportunity to fight with Pasha, having that Blink Black Hole on the high ground. Nisha bugs out to no one jumps across. Blinding Light as well, no one getting stunned up for now. He's healed up by the Sunray of Roger. Secret will respect the Legion, the Huskar, and back off. They don't want to look to try and poke at him anymore.
It's still scary for them to take a head-on team fight when you're playing versus the Enigma and
Phoenix. So many counterplays
that
VP can fall back on. They're not an easy lineup to tackle in a team fight head-on 5-on-5. Ideally, you're looking towards what, like Nisha and mid one, finding these pick-offs to start the fights, getting these quick kills.
Yeah. Puppy's itemized so he doesn't just get killed. Actually, like like he just did versus a solo Drow coming in on him. Has a Ghost Scepter. So a little bit of a strange one because he's not going to be able to go for like a halberd or anything now, but he just wants some way for him not to just feed. Feed away free money, that is. Once Pasha has BKB, there is no answer from Secret to really get that cancel too. So that's another scary thing, is they don't have anything to do with the black hole when we're there. That's Puppy. He's getting slept up. Tried to get, ooh, you saw that play there? That was actually pretty clever. They tried to get the recall off during the Nightmare. but he does get tapped once and will get cleaned up by the rest of VP. Pasha commits forward with the black hole.
He has got the catch. Oh, can they kill Nisha in time? Oh, they can't. They get those. They pay with the silence after the time lapse. A few more right clicks from Ramses will do it. So they do still find that kill. It looked like Nisha might be able to slip away. But mid-one, he's been left behind, surrounded. He'll get the strafe off, but that will not save him. As indeed, that play from Pasha, quickly moving from top to bottom.
He's feeling more and more confident now at these black holes. With the cooldown being reduced, of course, and he's actually almost caught both of them together. He almost got mid-one as well as Nisha.
I mean, they still get the kills, but it nearly was even more fancier from Pasha. Mid lane Noah. Walks up, another tier 2 taken, and he's close on the way to that Assault Cuirass.
He's getting high levels too. Level 20 now, so has the increased cast range to commit forward. And Huskar is a hero that does get... He's of course the scariest in the early game, but he doesn't stop really that hard anymore because of the talents. He still has an avenue to make his way into the late game. But yeah, they go for that sideguard push. 20 seconds, they're trying to force a buyback.
I mean, yeah, it's not going to come out. Mid-one will respawn, but they're without Nisha for 20 seconds, Secret.
They just pop the BKB.
He's committing for this melee racks, and he will take it. VP getting the melee racks. Puppey goes for a duel. Supernova comes out. As that's just going to be free damage given away to no one. Dueling the Huskar is never really going to be a good idea, as no one will survive, and he walks out with a bonus 18 damage. Melee racks taken as well by VP.
Uh-oh, Secret. Don't have the answer.
We always knew it was going to be a hard game, but you sort of have to give Secret credit that we're at the 32-minute mark, and they certainly sort of kept it even, but now we're starting to see the real struggles. You've got Ramses and no one farming ahead like beasts.
There's just so many things that they have to deal with, right? It's just the threat of the black hole, the threat of the Phoenix egg, and then it's like, oh my god, it's a Huskar as well, who now has all these increased items that allows him to just be that beefy frontliner. He's even going for a Lotus Orb, but he's changed it up.
Okay.
Just wanting to get rid of them. I think in like the Blinding Light and the Mana Leak. Mana Leak is so obnoxious to play against. It's an item you see very commonly built versus Coddles, even though we don't see Coddle too much. So next big situation is Secret trying to sneak a Roche. I think this is their best play. They can't let VP get this one.
Can't like this.
They can't let VP even set up for this.
But I don't know if they can get. Can they get away with it?
I don't know if they
fast
can. Enough.
There's a black hole and such, and no one. He's leading straight in onto Puppey. Ghost Scepter comes out. Quick dive in. Pasha waiting for the opportune moment to jump. And he doesn't need to for now. There's going to be a BKB pop by mid-one as he will be able to focus down solo. Pasha still keeping the distance. They're moving in onto no one. Mid-one trying to commit with that BKB, but he can't kill off no one. The heal's there from the Sunray. The Torrent does come through as well as the Blinding Light. Can they find that Huskar? They really wanted the boats going out upon him, but he'll instantly take them off. They do lose Roger, though.
There's no buyback on Roger either, as well as Solo.
Secret can go back into the pit now with two of them dead. Still a potential black hole threat from Pasha, but it looks like they're heading away. They're just going to let this one go to Secret. With two heroes down, they're not going to try and continue to contest it. It's going to be a free Aegis, a free Cheese, and a free Roshan for Secret.
I mean, that's the best play, literally the best play they could possibly go for there. Because if VP is allowed to set up for that Roche, Secret's just, they're screwed. Because the team fight, even if it's daytime, it's going to be way too hard for them to take it versus this Huskar as well as Drow with all this team fight. And that, I believe, was the first usage of the mid-one BKB, right? He comes out and is able to get the kill onto Solo.
But I mean, was that VP losing the Phoenix, losing this, the Bane, but they just, they couldn't have tried, do you think, to get them out of the pit? Was it just too hard at that point? Still having the black hole, still having Ramses, you couldn't still try and fight that?
I think they just weighed the risks and the benefits. Yeah. They're probably just like, we can just win this even if they have Aegis and Cheese. We've got a BKB on Enigma.
Yeah.
They've got no way to cancel it. If we just play this safe in the later stages, we'll be okay versus this lineup anyway. They just have to worry about Nisha, who's getting quite massive, to be honest. Has picked up a full Manta now, so he has the way to dispel that gust. He's been using the Hurricane Pike to try to help him, right? Like push himself away from it, but definitely needs something to not allow Ramses to just keep screwing him over. And has a DD in the bottle too, so. Also almost 25, so Nisha could really be an X factor to just weave in and out of the fights and get on top of the Drow Ranger.
Yeah, they almost have to get him in the black hole to have any sort of chance of winning these fights as a team, as he just gets so much done. and can be that huge issue for even some of the beefier cores with the amount of damage and items and levels that he has, nearly reaching that 25 as they're pushing onto the top tier 2.
They can still be pretty set up though, right? If VP's all set up, then they're not that afraid of it. This Aegis cheese could be a little bit of the X factor here, but Ramses also has itemized to deal with like all the right-click damage, has an Ethereal Blade 2 on a Drow Ranger, which isn't your most common, but having activatable items on Drow is excellent because of, you know, that 25 talent and yeah. And also versus like Clinks, the high physical damage, you have ways to always protect yourself.
And the full Hex as well now for YapzOr complete.
Yeah.
So that extra sort of instant disable that could certainly catch out a Nolan Husker jumping in.
Especially like the cast range difference, right? We've been seeing that being pointed out there. And also a new record, look at that. Okay, cool. 10 minutes faster than normal.
Oh, no, on a call.
On a Coddle, yes, of course, of course.
So, yeah.
But he has the increased cast range, so that Hex range is actually super far if you really look at it. It's pretty fun.
Yep, so nearly overtake the farm of mid-1 this game.
VP looks like they're setting up to try to go for a fight here. I believe what Roger is now level 18 as well, so increased ag hits. Gonna be much harder now for Secret to bring it down. They still can, because they still have those, you know, the tools to actually do so with their heroes, with Clinks and Weaver and the press the attack. But VP definitely feeling still pretty confident, even if they're playing into an Aegis and Cheese, especially when it's nighttime. So 3 minutes until daytime, and they're trying to push their aggression forward, clean out these shrines.
Let's see how hard they want to push in here. Puppey does have that blink, so they're ability to get in, just having sort of that instant disable. Just have to be careful giving away that bonus damage, as can be the situation when you're sort of playing this support Legion. You do die very quickly.
Listening to you even say that pains me. Just support Legion. Just still, it still hurts me a little bit. 1 and 9 this time around, Puppey. Having a little bit more difficulty.
He has made it work the other game, but as I say, that was definitely a different scenario. This time you're doing it up against Virtus.Pro, one of, if not arguably the best team at the moment in the world. So we're always going to be tough, but Secret as a team, they are making it work overall. And YapzOr got the jump in, the Hex. Depends if Nightmare comes out, that's going to give Pasha the chance to put the BKB. He can walk himself out of the combo. Solo is going to be focused. He goes for the TP out, and he is going to make it. The X mark's there, though. The grab back from Zai will secure them a kill onto the Bane.
How much time left on the Aegis?
50 seconds
50
left.
seconds. So I think VP's actually just stalling, waiting for this.
Yeah.
They're keeping the lanes pushed out. They're forcing reactions constantly, and then they're going to look for a fight right after that's gone.
Yeah, we know they're a very good team when it comes to keeping the Aegis timer, so no
That is
doubt
very
at all
true.
that is indeed the case here.
Picking up a lot of items too during all this time. Full BKB now on the Drow, a lot more protection. But yeah, they're just calm. Look at all the sentry wards, just typical solo stuff, right? He's like, okay, I don't want to get hunted by Clinks. I don't want to get hunted by these Weavers. I just want to get good information on the map, pick and choose our battles, pick and choose our fights.
But I think at the same time, you know, you're sort of considering the pace that VP are playing. If this game does go on and on, Secret, they do have a lot of late game they have a lot of late game carry potential, don't they?
But they don't have ways to stop the black hole.
True.
That is
So
always
there's
a
always
huge threat.
Yeah, the team fight, no doubt. You look at VP's lineup, as you say, the Supernova, the black hole. There's not going to be any point of the game where that really gets easier to play against.
Nope.
As one good positional play from Pasha can just end the team fight.
Mm-hmm.
And VP, they can certainly do very well to rely on Pasha to make that play happen.
Yeah, especially because it's not like he's literally just a black hole in this game too. He itemized so that he can actually be progressing. He's got Guardian Greaves, he's got Midas, he's got items to make himself at least tanky as well on top of it, so he doesn't just die to some right clicks during it. Yeah, they're continuing to just pick up their items. The farm continues. Everyone, you know, it's a 7K gold lead, but that 7K gold is actually just in the bank right now of VP. 4K on the Huskar, 4K as well on the Enigma, as they start to spend their money. And do we have daytime coming out soon? We do. So we see Secret, they're already preparing, they're smoking. We do have, of course, the bounties as well coming up. This could be the clash.
Oh, Puppey! He's going to jump forward, but he gets Nightmare. He gets the bugs out onto the three of them. The boat comes crashing through, but the egg's off in time. Can they kill the egg? Oh, Pasha!
The hole!
Comes in, gets the 4-man black hole, and the talking about. Pasha.
Well, boom!
What a black hole. Absolutely perfect. I believe one hit away, I think that Supernova was from dying.
It was close.
As VP, that's what they were waiting for. This calm, this this peace before the storm. VP said, we're chilling out. You do what you want, Secret, because we know you're gonna slip up. We're gonna jump you. We're gonna wipe you.
The heroes that have to hit the egg, we were mentioning it. They have to get kind of close, and Pasha just waits for the perfect opportunity.
I mean, that's the angle as well. Up on the cliff, getting 2 from the river, 2 from the high ground. Fortifications coming out, but VP, they're ending the game.
They're
ending
absolutely
the game. It's game over.
It's game over.
It's game over. Press that GG, press that return key, Secret, as this game is over and done. VP.
Kaboom. Enigma, what a hero.
Ending that, just the elegance of that game as well from VP. They didn't rush it.
Nope.
They just said, we're gonna chill.
Wait till the Aegis is gone.
So, that's cute, Secret. You did it right in the laning stage. And then, bam, that one play. We're done now. We'll move on to game 2, says VP, and they certainly will with a win under their belt. What a way to finish it.
That was beautiful.
What a way to finish it.
Yeah, that was,
I mean,
it was a picture-perfect moment by VP. Like, that's just...
That's what you dream of when you have the Phoenix and the Enigma. Just those moments. Everyone's hitting the egg, and then finding that position and on the edge of that cliff. 2 on the low ground, 2 on the high ground. Doesn't matter. Pasha's right there in position. And that one... I mean, it's hard to sort of say it's a mistake because the black hole was so perfect and Pasha coming in like that. But Secret, they've got to be kicking themselves. They're like, right, we grouped up as 4. We fell for it. We fell for the trap. The VP was preparing for it all game. And it cost them the game. It was game over as soon as that black hole was there.
That's what those situations happen, though. The Phoenix starts getting those levels built up. The egg takes so many extra hits to get offline, and Pasha comes in absolutely clutch.
What an ending. Probably one of the most abrupt endings that we've had here at ESL One Hamburg so far, and a scary one too. Because, up until that point, Secret were never thinking, we're about to lose this game in like a minute. It was just over. It was just...
The threat, man. The threat of the Enigma.
The threat was real, and VP instilling fear into Secret as best as they can, as they will take that game 1, and Secret, they got to shake themselves back in and get ready for game 2 as VP 1-0 up in this best of 3.
Yes, thank you very much. And yeah, we had to pick it back from the green room. It was like, whoa, hang on, this looks like it might end. And it did. A very abrupt ending indeed. And that's just what happens sometimes when you're playing an Enigma. Sometimes it's what happens when you're playing Virtus.Pro. Secret go down by 1, but this is a best of 3. It's the upper bracket semi-final, so plenty of chances still left for them to come back into it. Let's get some thoughts now from Blitz and Purge alongside. Will, Secret losing or Virtus.Pro winning?
I think it's Secret. No, I think it's Virtus.Pro winning. Because I feel like their draft was just better overall too. Like I thought that game had this like air of inevitability because they had no real easy ways to stop the black hole. Eventually he's going to get it off. You've got a Phoenix, so I think is still the best team fight position 5 hero in Dota 2 because he adds so much value to your lineup. I just felt like there wasn't a whole lot that their lineup could do in the long run.
Yeah, I think what Secret had and what they had to do with the Klinks pick, I think that they were kind of forcing that by there being a Huskar, and he did sort of outlane the Huskar. He got the solo kill, and then he ended up dying, and then he got ganked a couple times. But the problem was that from that moment on, there just wasn't a good solution for him. Like, he can't gank Bane by himself. Bane will just turn and nightmare him. He can't gank Phoenix very well. They tried really hard, and successfully they forced a lot of eggs out, but very few times he got the kill. And he can't kill the cores, so Klinks just had a really rough game. He, like, yes, the lane wasn't awful, but the rest of the game was really hard for him to do anything. And then they also had a Legion support the whole time that they were trying to make work, and it was useful in the laning stage. Yes, there were some good times of the duel. He did a smart thing with the Ghost Scepter, but the reason they lost that last fight is because smoke broke, he blinked in, and he got nightmared. One basic skill from a low net worth hero on Bane means Legion is nullified for the whole fight. And then they'll have 4 heroes they feel like they had to kill the egg, and that set up the beautiful black hole from Enigma.
Just shows you. Can change in a moment, can't it, Will, this game?
Yeah. I think Secret actually played this game very well, considering the lineup disadvantage that
it
I
went
thought
long, didn't it? I mean, what are we talking, 41 minutes?
Yeah, I thought Nisha and especially Yapsor were both standouts. Like that bottom fight, I thought determined a lot, where they were able to kite forever. They were able to pick up 2 kills as a result. I thought that was a little bit of a turning point for them, but they had to do that consistently from start to finish. It's such a scary thing when you know.
It's a tall ask, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like if you. By the way, if you mess up at any time and 2 or more people get black holed, you've lost the fight.
Yeah.
Those are your conditions to win, And they surprisingly did a very good job of that. I think it helps when you do have the vision advantage at all times with the App Store, because when it's daytime, they can walk anywhere. It's very easy for them to avoid these bad team fights. But at some point, I felt like you just have to get caught. You can't play perfect game. That's not how Dota works.
Yep. We talk about MVPs a lot, obviously for Virtus.Pro, because they've won so many Mercedes-Benz here at the ESL Ones. This man rarely gets the MVP, so maybe it's his turn this time around. It's Pasha who's picked up the MVP for this particular game. Who else on the Enigma?
Yeah. You know how I feel about it? It's like if you won that was the play that won them the game.
Yeah.
It was the same with Misery Stun on the Knicks. I felt like that 4-man black hole definitively won them the game. Why not?
Yeah. No, there's other people that have better stats and have more impact and everything else, but
he had a beautiful play. We're going to be looking at that kill for a long time in the history of Dota. But Ramses was robbed, damn it. He was 9-3-6. He won his lane. And then he kept dodging ganks. He hard carried Drow Rangered.
Kevin, are you using logic here?
Did you guys watch that laning stage? Like, Kunkka looked like a shit hero, and very often he does look like a shit hero. But like, and I'm a little upset that people are picking him so early and then keep forcing him in these side lanes and all. But like, Zai didn't go X, and Zai looked like a scrub because he never landed a torrent, just because Ramses and Solo played so well in that lane. Like, that lane was so deterministic for the game outcome. Not that Secret didn't play amazing, and Zai still played very good, but they were just constantly on top of things. And they won the laning stage, and Ramses got to be a real carry.
Yeah, plenty to take out of this, Will, from a positive point of view of Secret, looking at this as a whole series, isn't there?
Yeah, I think the Drow and the Huskar definitely caught them off guard. But I felt like their play, it's hard to really flame them for anything, because I did think that they kept the game going way longer than it could have. They did a very good job of kiting around those two supports as well. They made it really hard for the Phoenix to ever get good eggs off. They had to be, it was contingent on getting the black hole off. And that's why I still think Pasha was the MVP. But
all right, well, I'm going to leave these two to argue during the break, which is where we're heading to now. But don't go too far away, because this one's heating up rather nicely, isn't it? Best of 3, upper bracket semi-final, Virtus.Pro versus Secret. Game 2 is coming up after the break.